Get right into it.
Bag home, it's Batman.
It is Batman. Na 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 na. Cookie.
Hello and welcome on into this Wednesday's edition of Movie News here at MBE. I can murder a cookie right now, John. I don't know about you, but
No, I've just had a mango milkshake, so certainly not, Stephen.
yeah, we can dip it into the milkshake. Perfect, milk and cookies. But anyway, we're not here to talk about.
As well today.
We're not here to talk about food and drink. We're here to talk about entertainment news.
Yes.
That MN in the corner, that stands for movie news, but we do talk about entertainment stuff as well. Yeah, it does. I swear to God. But anyway, swear to me. But anyway, John, that's who we're talking about. We're talking about the Batman. What a transition. Such professionals here. The Batman is getting a sequel according to Gizmodo and everywhere else. Everywhere else apart from movieburnerentertainment.org. Because we were sleeping when this broke. As usual, it was accommodated for the US audience. And it was accommodated
For America.
for CinemaCon 2022, where the news was broke, John. The Batman is back, man, at CinemaCon 2020. Warner Bros. And director Matt Reeves just announced, it was like 12 hours ago, that this year's hit DC adaptation will be getting a sequel. Reeves and star Robert Pattinson are confirmed to return, but no other news was given. I think it's developed since then. There's a few coming back, John. Obviously, we've got Colin Farrell. Zoe Kravitz definitely coming back for it.
Andy Serkis.
This is what Reeves had to say. I'm sure, yeah, it's Reeves. He said, "I'm excited to jump back in for another chapter." Reeves said, promising more news at CinemaCon to come.
There's more to come.
There is more to come, and we're going to get into it, John. It was really just a little introduction to say this is how it was announced and who announced it.
Stephen,
we have already talked about Reeves doing a trilogy anyway, so it's not any major surprise or anything like that, John. I actually picked up on a few people on Twitter who have been saying that they were very surprised with a lot of people thinking that it's a one and done film and it wouldn't be getting a sequel and stuff. I can't believe anyone believed that. I don't know if they're getting mixed up with perhaps maybe Joaquin Phoenix's Joker film, which was more of a one and done, although there's possibility of a sequel. This was always talked about. We've talked about this for the last 2 years. Matt Reeves has always envisioned a trilogy.
Well, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
I seem to distinctly recall when the news broke a couple of years back that Matt was going to be not just penning but actually directing The Batman with Robert Pattinson announced not long afterwards. Obviously stepping into the big shoes of Ben Affleck, who was initially, to quote Alan Partridge, going to be doing the script and been heavily involved in his version of the Batman. When that news broke, Stephen, he slapped down a comic book cover on a table on Insta, on the gram. It was Golden Years Batman. It was like the anniversary, 70th, 80th anniversary, whatever
from
it was.
the shadows. Yep. So that was my Bowie.
No, that's absolutely fine, Stephen. And the news seemed to be a trilogy.
Yeah.
That's what I read back in the day. And it wasn't that fucking long ago that we were getting a trilogy of movies from Matt Reeves. Stephen, this doesn't surprise me. That's why I put in a major surprise. It shouldn't surprise anybody that's seen the movie, because it is an outstanding piece of cinema.
But it's a set-up film, isn't it?
It's a set-up movie, Stephen, yeah. I mean, he's put the Joker in there, Barry Keoghan.
Yeah.
He's put a very unfinished, not fully formed Penguin in there. Cobblepot in there. Because it's not technically the Penguin at that point. He's just some grotesque mobster bitch at that point. There's lots of development. Even the Riddler story, it feels unfinished.
Yeah.
He is jilted. He's an unhappy man in Arkham. There's more to come from that character. So
could possibly be more than a trilogy then, John.
It could, yeah, it could. But I think a trilogy's enough, Stephen. But we'll get into that. I'll ask you some questions. But I do like that comment. Johnny Depp to play Joker.
Yeah.
Like Johnny Depp.
I think if perhaps we didn't get that sort of...
Barry Keoghan.
Yeah, that scene. I know it was only voice, not the cut scene, obviously.
Yeah, I mean,
the voice one was obviously clearly him. John, you actually talked about maybe a month or two ago in terms of investing and getting someone like Robert Pattinson in that age group so he could portray it for many years to come. So that's why I kind of threw in that it could be beyond a trilogy. I mean, it depends really, how much further Matt Reeves wants to take this, whether or not he's got the passion for it for longer than 3 films. It's a hard thing to do, isn't it? Commit that sort of length of time to any franchise. The Batman being probably one of the biggest ones, if not the biggest one,
Certainly DC.
John,
yeah.
it was trending on Twitter this morning. That's when I first knew about it here in the UK, British Standard Time, about 8 o'clock.
Well, this week's been full of surprises, Stephen.
The trend was,
Star Wars celebrations this weekend. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either, John. I was very today. Surprised about that, but I don't know what kind of news is going to come from that.
TV shows.
Yeah.
Patty Jenkins, maybe.
Maybe the Cassian Andor stuff. I don't know.
Maybe the little bald-headed man finally gets a trilogy announcement.
Yeah, if he doesn't, that's going to be a big
talking
point.
I don't know why I said
no, he's
that.
not, but he's not got the greatest hairline either.
No, he's a slut.
John, Batman 2 was trending. And the Batman 2, sorry. As a title of a film, would you be happy with it being called that, Batman 2?
No.
Is it too lazy? Is it more a working title?
Well, I mean, Stephen, I was obviously speaking about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse yesterday.
Yeah.
And also there was rumours Spider-Man into Spider-Verse 2.
Yes.
It's lazy, man.
Yeah.
You've got to think outside the box. You've set it up, the Batman.
The Dark Knight Rises? Chris, that's shit. What are you playing at, man?
It was a bit of shit, wasn't it? The Batman Begins was great because it begins. It's telling you in the title, this is the beginning of something. It's a new Batman.
Yeah.
A different take in Batman again. Gone any hint of campiness.
Yeah.
Even Tim Burton had some campy moments in there. In his remake, it was dark, it was different. It's laid the foundations for what was to come with this character. Until Joel Schumacher, of course, get his hands on it and fucking, what killed the dinosaurs? I say!
What killed the Batman franchise? Joel Schumacher! Yeah. He did do Batman Forever, to be fair.
Yeah. But
which was okay.
Yeah, I mean, was that... What one was that, sorry?
Batman Forever.
Was that Kilmer?
Yeah. Schumacher did that. John,
that's not bad. Yeah, I like that.
The thing
That's
is,
still the best
Batman's never had a sort of numerical title. You know, it's I suppose if you count Batman 66 and Batman 89, it's a sort of references, but it's never had a number, has it? So
no.
I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't mind it at all, because I felt putting the first film out just called The Batman was such an obvious but bold move as well.
Advertisement.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't even referred to as the Batman.
No.
In the movie, he was Vengeance.
Yeah.
He only really
imagine if they called the film Vengeance.
Well, apparently the working title was Vengeance for this movie, which makes sense. But yeah, the Batman, I liked it, the fact he prefixed it, because we'd always got that in the likes of the Dark Knight, the Joker, Heath's Joker. I know why you're having your little group therapy sessions, daytime sessions. The Batman, it's always been prefixed, but it's never been in a movie. So we get the Batman as the title. It's almost setting up, this is the Batman, this is a different Batman again. Moving forward for the sequel, I don't know what you'd do, Stephen. That's really up to Matt Reeves and the creative team over at Warner Brothers. But the possibilities are endless. They could go the Batman 2, just keep it simplistic, pop a 2 next to it. Or they could do something different. I don't know, I just don't even know. It always has to have the Batman something.
Yeah.
It can't be like the Dark Knight Rises. It can't be completely different. I feel with this, they've set it up with the Batman, so it has to be the Batman something. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Vengeance Rises.
Rises.
I honestly don't know.
Joke's on you. I don't know.
Well, that sort of takes me into my next sort of topic of conversation, John. There was an article today. Can't remember what website it was, but it was obviously with this news. It's kind of sprung all these sort of ideas up, and one of them was, and it was a bit more advice than anything, in terms of Batman wants to try the sort of Spider-Man formula in terms of not dwelling too much on the one character and bringing them back again and again, pointing to the Joker. Now, when you look at it, John, in the last 10 years we've had 3 different, well, if you count the Gotham television series as well, we've had 4 different Jokers now, all different.
2 good ones though.
Yeah, 2 good ones and one okay and then one terrible.
Yeah.
But do you think it would be a bold move to do this trilogy if it is a trilogy and not include the Joker?
It'd be strange now, Stephen, because he's obviously put Keegan in there. He's gave us an insight into the deleted scene, and not just that, if he just left it at that and he'd cut it and he'd covered his arse by having him shadowy and you can't see his full face, he could say it's just some deranged guy in Arkham talking to the Riddler, and they move on if they don't want to go there. But the fact he's now went out and actually spoke it in depth,
and you wouldn't get someone like
Keegan,
to play it if we're just going to go down that road. Yeah,
and he's played unhinged characters. Killing of a Sacred Deer.
You don't get someone in that quality and not utilise them, I suppose. But
and he spoke at length about the character.
Would it bother you though? Would it bother you if they just went down the road of Hugo Strange? You know, do you know something? People want Mr. Freeze, and I was going to say it, and I said I don't want him. I remember us having that conversation with Gianni in terms of the look and feel of the first movie, The Batman, was a detective film. You put Mr. Freeze in there, it doesn't take much of a detective to work out who's behind certain things when he's leaving trails of ice everywhere,
exactly.
You know? And it was a good argument.
Yeah, I mean, Steve, I think that's something, if he's going to continue down that route with this trilogy, that's going to be the sort of overarching theme of his trilogy. Stylistic sort of creative choice, I'll say. It being the detective, the greatest detective in the world thing. I think Sherlock would have something to say about that, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But if that's going to be the theme, then you would want to pick villains who are more cerebral and sort of puppet mastery in the way they operate. Not brawn, they can use brawn.
I do think Penguin's going to play a big part.
Yeah.
That was his introduction.
That's what I was going to ask you, Steve.
Yeah.
Because obviously he's getting a spin-off TV show, Cobblepot, and Colin Farrell's going to be in it. It's going to be on HBO Max. Do you think they're doing that to enrich the character, give him his own backstory, give him a chance to grow, and then we take him as this very different beast who we've seen develop and pop him in maybe the second or third movie of this trilogy?
Yeah.
Do you think he will appear in the sequel, direct sequel, or do you think it will be the third trilogy before the Penguin comes back?
I don't. When's the HBO series coming out?
Coming out very shortly, I believe. I think they're developing it.
This film's not got released till 2024, according to reports. So, John, I think he might be the main villain in the next film then, because I think it was presence. That's all he was in that last film. Presence, just to show that he exists in this universe, and it was all about obviously the Riddler.
He's manipulating obviously Selina as well at one point in the deleted scene.
Yeah, doing the television series, I think almost like Disney Plus are doing with a lot of their stuff is, you know, filling in the blanks on TV, and none of us mind that because we're getting extended. It's almost like 2-3 films worth. Anyway, I think that's a good shout. I think perhaps maybe we will get the next episode up with Family Man.
It's coming out.
Yeah,
we
will.
It's editing it tonight.
It's every Thursday and every Friday. We do those
100%.
But I think it's a good way to set up the character. And then when we do get into the Batman 2 or whatever they're going to call it, he's established. We know what he's all about, and he just makes a grand entrance and right into the action without having to build up a backstory and how he became who he is and all that.
It didn't bog it down.
No, it does, exactly. You know, and I don't think they'll bog it down in a television series either. I don't think they'll. I think they'll do it the way they did with the Gotham series in terms of just there's other stories happening while that's a kind of background thing happening, if you know what I mean.
And Stephen, again, it shows you evolution for DC. Warner Brothers, they've looked over at their rivals, their arch nemesis in Disney and Marvel, what they're doing, giving us big bombastic movies, giving us spin-off shows for not lesser, because the Penguin's a fucking Titanic supervillain in the DC comics, but he's not got enough about him to have his own movie. Even if it's Colin Farrell, it's not going to be something that's going to make the money a Batman's made.
No.
750, 800 million at the box office, turned down are breaking records for numbers on the streaming service. But giving him his TV show, I think, is intelligent. They've seen what they're doing. Moon Knight, WandaVision, Miss Marvel, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, developing the Captain America and then giving them his own movie. I think they're now realising there is potential there. You've got HBO Max and their own streaming service. They want to build it. And the best way to do that is to give us spin-offs of these hugely successful movies. So we can develop Arkham, because it's not Gotham anymore. The City Police, they're doing it's actual Arkham. So that maybe tie in with Joker and Riddler. They may appear in something and then appear in this movie. It could be a setup.
This is going to be an expensive TV show if you get all those guys in.
I don't think they'll get Keegan, though, to be fair. I'm talking crap, or Dano.
Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe cameos. I don't know. I suppose if they don't really want to go there, they don't have to. You know, it's the possibilities are endless, I suppose. Well, I was going to say something there, John, in terms of the detective side of the themes that we explored in the first movie.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll continue with that theme, or do you think we've moved away from that now? Now that there was a change in Batman at the very end of the film, the way he's perceived as well by the city, would it be
don't
backward
know.
step to go to stick with the detective theme.
I don't know, Stephen, because the whole thing was vengeance. He was a broken man. He'd fell out of society, became this sort of he just solely Batman. You know what I mean? He was making sporadic appearances as Bruce. He became all but a hermit. And he was deep in the Batman character. I think at the end he realised it was too much. The vengeance was too much. He was the shadows now, but he was inspiring sort of people in the shadows, criminals. They were almost looking at this guy and using his presence as an inspiration. So I think that moment when the guy says he's vengeance, and obviously he's rebuffed in the water, I think that is almost symbolic of him changing his overall life. He's going to become more Bruce and Batman. He'll combine them, become a more fully fledged person. But that doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't have to still do detective work. I think he can still do detective work.
It seems like they're doing the reverse of what Christopher Nolan did with his trilogy, in terms of Batman Begins was all about establishing who he was to come. Hi there, Aim. How you doing?
Nice name.
You know, and I think that development over that first film, becoming Batman. Yeah. The film actually could have be called Becoming Batman. And then
imagine that with Gervais.
Try to balance, the two sides of his life. Whereas this one, he's already established as Batman in the first movie, and now we're going to have to see how he's going to manage that balance in the second film as well. Yeah. So there's a bit of a role reversal thing there going on.
And Stephen, the best thing about this character for me has always been, I've always spoken about him being my favourite DC character, and it's always been the triple personality, making one sort
triple,
of...
you're absolutely right, yeah.
One character. Yeah. You've got the philanthropist, billionaire, by day, arrogant, cocky, almost hated, but respected as well in certain circles. The Batman, vigilanteism. And then the truth lies somewhere in between, where his actual real, where he was, his real person, his being, if you like. And exploring that in the movies, it's something I always loved. That's one thing there's scope for improvement for in this trilogy with Matt Reeves, I feel. Using Bruce a bit more. It was very subtle. His interactions with, obviously, Alfred in the hospital scene.
Yeah, that was a great scene, John, yeah.
His moment with a little kid who was orphaned in the... Obviously, not orphaned, but he lost his... Was he orphaned? I don't know.
I think he was, yeah.
The funeral scene.
Yeah.
That was a little insight, the connection. We could get more of the sort of cocky Bruce Wayne, but I don't know if that's in this character. I think he's different.
John, there was a good...
Bale, Stephen was great, man.
Yeah, he was fantastic, John. He's still my favourite one. There was a question on social media the other day about the kills. What was the best one? I still think Bale's was the best one. Although I did like Ben Affleck's.
I like kill.
Yeah, the kill,
Did Keaton have a kill? I'm thinking about the actual helmet.
Well, it did, but it couldn't turn, yeah. He had to do that thing, but I think most of them have had that. I think in Batman Begins, Bale had it as well, but I think it was by The Dark Knight. I love that sort of military.
Well, I mean, that played into the story as well, Stephen. It was very prototype.
Yeah. John, I saw a great comic strip today. It was a 2-windowed comic strip about the Riddler and Batman, and the riddle was from the Riddler, surprisingly, was what's in an alley and has holes in it, and Batman's like tearing up saying my parents, like crying. He went, no, it was a bowling ball. Sorry, didn't mean that. That was so funny.
But that's something that was always there in the actual Riddler character. That's one thing that Jim Carrey did, implementing his version, the humour. He was a little bit dark in his humour. And look, man, you speak about it. Was that Batman Returns?
Batman Forever.
Yeah, and that was Tommy Lee Jones. It wasn't the worst movie. That wasn't fucking good either.
John, we watched that clip of Jim Carrey. Tommy Lee Jones
hated him.
Turned up at a restaurant.
I can imagine Tommy Lee Jones being like that.
Yeah.
He's just, fucking, if he hates someone, he's actually what he throttled.
I love both of them.
Very different.
For different reasons.
Yeah, they're both great actors, Stephen. Yeah. They're both... I grew up with these guys. They were huge Titanic names in the 90s.
Yeah.
As I've said time and again, fucking obsessed with The Fugitive.
Yeah.
I don't care. On a daily basis.
Yeah.
I don't care. I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. Fucking love a movie. Love Tommy Lee.
Yeah.
And what... there's only been 2 Harvey Dents, hasn't there? In terms of...
Yeah, well, there was...
Billy
D. Williams.
Forgot about Billy.
Yeah, very brief.
Yeah, I had to correct myself. Yeah, that was all strange. That was set in the same universe, wasn't it?
It was in the first 4 film. Well, it's weird because...
He was dead, wasn't he?
Yeah. Because it's weird because Alfred was obviously the same guy, Michael Gough,
Yeah, he was an
and
Alfred.
the Batman changed. Dent changed because obviously we got Tommy Lee Jones by the third movie. So but it was all supposed to be the same universe.
Yeah, very strange. Thankfully they killed that universe stone dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, where was I? I was going to say something there, and it has completely fucking left me, and that's absolutely fine. We were talking about the Riddler. Yeah, there's always a degree of humour. And Dano, I think, did a good job of that. There was little moments of kind of like humour in there. It was dark
there was a
and
few
twisted.
moments we were laughing, but I don't think it was intentional humour. It was almost
very excitable.
Nick Cage-esque, the way he was ranting and raving in the interrogation.
Yeah, I mean, I always think the sort of video call in the funeral scene.
Yeah.
The sort of memorial scene. He's getting very frantic in his speech.
Mm.
Things like I can't remember the words, but but a great performance. I love Paul. He's a great actor. I'm saying Paul as if I'm best pals with him. Great actor. But Stephen, there was a couple of announcements today as well, and I want to get your thoughts on it before we wrap this up. This was meant to be short and sweet. We're going to go and record.
Okay. Yeah.
Family Man episode 6 or 5, 6 after this. 6. Yeah,
we've done
incredible.
5.
We're already 6 in.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was lots of information put out. It's CinemaCon in Vegas just now.
Yep.
Warner Brothers are doing their thing. I think Marvel are doing theirs tonight. Feige's already says they're going off and doing a little...
The DC League of Super Pets. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, that's a thing.
I don't know what that is.
That is a thing, yeah. I always thought that was like the Titans.
Yeah.
But it was a Pets.
Okay.
Very Secret Life of Pets meets DC.
Yeah.
But they've also released some sort of footage today of The Flash. With Ezra Miller.
Okay.
Barry Allen.
Yeah.
So one not Bannon. Good football. Good guy, Barry. Scored a fucking peach the other week there. Seen it? Chipped the guy from 50 yards.
Barry from EastEnders.
Barry?
Yeah.
That's Sean Williamson, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that what your name is? Yeah. He's always up watching extras recently.
Yeah.
Outtakes.
It's only Barry from EastEnders.
What the hell? What's he doing? In a factory from Wigan. No, that was Chris Martin. It's Stephen. That was very strange the way I said that was Chris Martin.
Chris Martin.
Martin. Ezra Miller. Do you think this is the correct decision to continue on with this guy?
Yeah.
A lot of the movie's been shot. Do you think they're going to continue on with him after this movie? Do you think we will be finished with The Flash after this? Because, of course, he's not been arrested once.
No.
He's not been arrested twice. He's been arrested 3 times in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
He choked someone the fuck out in a pub. He was throwing darts at people and ruining their karaoke night. And then he got a restraining order took out and he's been since been arrested again.
Yeah,
so,
John.
Ezra's having a bit of a breakdown.
I think he has got some issues, and I don't obviously know the sort of behind the scenes what's going on with the guy. As an actor, I've always rated him.
Oh, he's good. Yeah, he's good.
As a person, not so much. But as I said, John, I don't really know what's going on in his head. And I don't think
anybody does.
Any close to him does either. But I was watching our good friend Chris over at T3 Media's where he was covering these incidents, and Chris made a good point in terms of he likes to keep separate, the real lives and obviously the professional lives and serving the story. So I totally agree. I think he was cast as the Flash, Barry Allen, and the fact that the studio have already put out footage, I think that's them sending a message to say we're not fucking changing anything. We'll put it out.
Can't do it anyway.
It costs an absolute fortune, John, to reshoot it. This isn't just certain scenes like they did with that Kevin Spacey incident. Yeah. They got
fucking title of character.
Your Manning,
Christopher Plummer.
You always have to pull me out of hold, John. I don't know why I forget that guy's name. I love the guy. One of my favourite films that he's in. He's actually a bit part in it. It's the Al Pacino film. What's the singer? I can't remember what it's called. But it was a great film, and he was sort of his sort of best friend in it. He always has a great presence. But anyway, John, we're not talking about that.
Has he the Sound of Music?
I don't know. I've never seen The Sound of Music.
I think he was in it.
Is he?
Yeah, he was in it. Yeah.
Christopher Plummer.
Fuck me, I'm pretty sure he was.
If he is, it wouldn't surprise me.
I'll search it up just now.
But in terms of actors in their personal life, John, I'm pretty sure if we were to do a search...
Oh, Stephen. Baron Von Trapp.
Yeah,
wow.
There you are, John. I don't know how you knew that.
Because I've seen it recently. And I'm like, that's Christopher Plummer. Wow, he looks different.
The reason I'm typing here and I'm kind of...
He looked a really different person when he was younger. It's easy to forget when he was with us fairly recently before he's passing. He was in his fucking 90s.
Yeah.
So someone in their 90s, someone in their 30s, totally different human being.
Now, John, I
Totally
was going to pull something up here and see in terms of famous actors, notorious celebrities, mugshots. You'd be surprised at the amount of really famous people out there.
Yeah, Marlon, you've typed him up.
Well, I have, John, because I wasn't sure. I didn't want
me.
to commit myself and say that in case he wasn't.
No,
but
absolutely.
Tiger Woods comes up right away.
Yeah, I mean, that was harsh. He is on opioids and stuff for his back.
John. But I mean, you're looking at very famous people here. Heather Locklear, jeez,
is that Justin Bieber?
TJ Hooker, Lindsay Lohan.
She looks fucking rough.
Matthew Newton, don't know who that is. Nicole Richie, that's Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant, that's for flashing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for persistent crimes, I get it.
For
but
persistent pleasuring of himself on a public highway.
James Brown.
Ow!
Get
down!
Looks tremendous there, actually.
I can stand it when you touch
John,
me.
the list goes on. I mean, Robert Downey Jr., for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
Kid Rock. I mean, the list goes on, John. The point I'm trying to make is here, these people have got things going on in their personal lives that just happen to be made public because of who they are. And we wouldn't have got Iron Man, if the studios didn't take a chance.
Stephen, if you want to just scroll up, Paris Hilton, not really done much since.
Fucking hell, don't even say him.
Yeah, we don't see him. Yeah, who the fuck's that? Is that Jesus?
It's Kid Rock.
Kid Rock, alright.
Yeah.
He's probably the only guy that's been redeemed.
Yeah.
Robert Downey.
But he's had a past, John. He has had a past.
Bieber get fucking arrested for bollocks. It's a joke. Probably possessing something or something like that. Very fucking hippie. Walks about with no shoes on and stuff like that. Weird guy. Actually not that bad, man, to be fair to Bieber. But you get through the list, man. The likes of Lindsay Lohan. That's it alone. She's got, we don't bring it in. He's not been redeemed. She's not really been redeemed. A lot of these actors have been redeemed, but some of them, fucking hell, was that?
That was your man from Naked Gun. I'll not say his name, but you can work it out for yourself.
Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg was a self-professed fucking gangster.
Yeah, John, but that's the point.
A lot of them not been redeemed. So I mean, if Ezra goes down the slippery slope and wants to keep doing these things, I don't think they're going to save him. But Stephen, the question the reason I was asking that, he's the obvious one. Shia.
Yeah.
Shia just didn't give a fuck though. I love that guy. I'm just going to flat out say it. Absolutely.
John, it's funny because when I read about Ezra Miller, that's the first person I do think about, Shia LaBeouf. And the issues he's had, and I'm not trying to justify that.
He's such a good guy, Shia. He does a lot for homelessness.
I think that they've had moments in their life that they've obviously been struggling, and I think in terms of Ezra Miller, there's something going on with the guy. Clearly, he's clearly got issues that he needs help.
I was going to bring up Johnny Depp.
Yeah. Well, yeah, John, I know you were talking about that briefly last night, weren't you? Somebody mentioned something about a film or something like that.
No, it was me. I brought it up. It was basically the cancelling of the continuing attempts to cancel Chris Pratt for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
On social media, there's just like these really extreme left wing fringe
elements.
Is this
because he's a Republican?
It's because his political persuasion's more to the right than the left.
Okay, well, that's
he's
his
a
choice.
Republican. That's his choice. It's reason there's a democracy. You can choose who you want to vote for.
Don't
have to agree with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's because he's a Christian as well. He goes to a certain church, and obviously Christianity, in its very nature, is quite conservative as an establishment. So there's certain things they're against. It's not in the scriptures. Push like that. I personally don't believe in that nonsense. But my argument was, look, if you believe in it, then that's your beliefs. You don't deserve to be cancelled unless you're being offensive and getting after and attacking people, which Pratt never did.
I've never found Chris Pratt offensive, to be honest with you.
He's the most easy, chilled fucking guy you'll ever
meet.
meet.
Not even when he did that.
I fucking love
Guardians
that.
2, was
so,
it?
yeah, I mean, I went down that rabbit hole and touched on it because I hate cancel culture. So,
Yeah.
I mean, where am I going with this? I brought up Johnny Depp. There is a degree of hypocrisy with Warner Brothers. Because they essentially mutually consent Johnny out of Fantastic Beasts. He gets paid his full wage, albeit, but he's shunned. He didn't get any more jobs because of the whole Amber Turd thing. She continues to work. She's getting jobs. She's working in Aquaman 2 with obviously Jason Momoa, who's, by the way, following Johnny Depp now. So what the fuck does that tell you? Clearly the narrative is changing.
Yeah.
But they get rid of Johnny for that, and then they continue to allow this guy who's fucking getting arrested every other week to be a title or lead
get
in one
that,
of the
John,
big
yeah.
movies. It's really fucking weird.
I think if perhaps the film hadn't already been in the can, it would have been binned.
Yeah.
It's a money thing more than anything, I think. It cost far too much to reshoot.
But I must stress, I hate cancel culture.
I do, John.
He's got his demons, and I still like Ezra. I says it at the time when he get arrested for the second time. I'd love to go out on a night out with the guy. Get fucking steaming.
Just not on the red carpet.
So as long as there's no darts around.
Yeah.
Yeah, red carpet, yeah.
He seems to thrive on the red carpet for some reason.
He turned up at a Comic-Con a couple of years ago with a Miss Peach outfit on.
Yeah.
Full on fucking mushroom head. It was brilliant. I felt then it was a cry for help and he was trying to tell us something. That was on the mushrooms.
John, I remember this guy when he was just a boy in Californication.
Yeah.
It was that, wasn't it? Radio Clyde t-shirt. Yeah, he was just a boy then.
Fucking great guy, yes. Before we get our demons, hopefully gets it sorted, hopefully can continue on, because I feel there is unfinished business with Barry Allen. But yeah, there's been lots of announcements today, Warner Brothers, lots of stuff coming out, man. Looks like Batgirl or whatever, Batwoman's going straight to streaming service. Lots of stuff coming out. Very interesting week to be a movie fan. I'm sure we'll cover Star Wars Celebration on Monday if anything comes out from that. Big Marvel news, maybe anything if it comes out from that. Maybe. I don't think there's going to be anything big from Marvel. Nah. Kevin Feige's been out and says he's waiting. I think next week they're meeting to plan out the next decade.
When is it that's out, John?
What's that? The
Marvel
Marvel's
stuff?
today.
Oh, is it today? Well,
it's today,
I was going to say if it was perhaps maybe after the release of Doctor Strange 2, we might have got some stuff with cameos, etc. and Easter eggs. Maybe that would have opened up things that they can announce, but if it's today, then no.
Well, mostly TV content and it'll be stuff we already know about.
Yeah, we've covered.
The actual future phases going beyond, I think that'll be the next, probably going to be Comic-Con time, funnily enough.
Yeah, I think so. I think because obviously the pandemic, they're held back with a lot of stuff. They've still got a whole phase they need to get through before they're...
Yeah, I want to see...
We're only into, the third film or something? Is that the second film? I can't remember.
Yeah, we've got Black Widow was the first, then obviously we had Spider-Man No Way Home, and now we're going into Multiverse of Madness.
Doctor Strange,
so that's the third,
And then we've obviously got Thor coming up as well.
Coming up.
Yeah, so...
But Stephen, before we go, I'm going to ask you a question very quickly, because I want to get your thoughts. Aside from once Multiverse of Madness is out the way, because that's next week, that comes out by the way, middle of next week, we get it early, need to go. What is your most anticipated movie of those released? Because also we get Black Panther,
Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever. Really looking forward to that. Cool. All those fuckers that say that Black Panther 1 wasn't that great a movie, I can't get my head around that, man. Michael B. Jordan is Eric Killmonger. I maintain one of the best villains in terms of human level villains we've ever got. You've got that. How they're going to handle the legacy of Chadwick Boseman and that character, because that's big fucking shoes to fill, man. Off the screen and on the screen. Still can't believe that guy's gone. Also, we get Blade. What else is coming out? 4. I'll ask you about 4. There's a couple of other ones coming out. What is your most anticipated movie coming up, man, from Marvel?
Apart from Doctor Strange.
Apart from Doctor Strange, keep that out of the way.
Strange. It's a hard one, John, because I think this phase is going into a really unknown territory.
And Ant-Man as well.
I mean, Ant-Man is a given, but it's always one of those ones that I wait and see, and then when I do see it, I thoroughly enjoy it. It's not in the same sort of level as Doctor Strange in that term, because I was really looking forward to Doctor Strange, the first movie, and it didn't disappoint. I think maybe Thor, Love and Thunder. I think I'm looking forward to that just because it's familiar faces. The reintroduction of Natalie Portman as well, and how she's going to perform as a different version of the character we know and love, and it just has really good vibes to it as well, and I think there's something about the chemistry between the Guardians and the Thor sort of team as well, that just worked really well since Ragnarok.
Which is just developed as well.
Yeah, thanks to Taika Waititi. And any Waititi film that comes out is the one I always look forward to the most, because I think he's such a talented director. No two films are the same. The humour's more or less the same, but different jokes, but that's just tone more than anything. He never disappoints, John, and he knows how to do the serious moments as well. We saw it in Jojo Rabbit, which was an extremely funny film, but a very extremely sad film as well.
Great soundtrack as well.
Oh, it was amazing.
And that's why I think the collaboration between him and James Gunn's so important as well, moving into Guardians 3, I think.
Ways, and
they're great friends off the screen. I think that's going to be really important, the handling of that story for potentially bleeding into Guardians 3. Stephen, I'm going off on a tangent again. We're fucking extending this show out longer than it should be. But you mentioned Taika. That's maybe something that will get announced over the weekend as well. His movie, he's working with Kirsty Wilson-Cairns, obviously, of 1917. Was it 1917, 1918?
1917. Yeah.
Fame.
Yeah. You made
Sam
me think
Mendes.
that. Yeah.
She's a
1917.
great fucking writer. She's from
Yeah.
Glasgow. They're
Yeah.
working on a Star Wars movie. Maybe we'll get some news on that. That's
Fi
something. I'm excited
Glasgow.
for. Glasgow. Aye,
Yeah.
she's from Glasgow.
Yeah.
Great writer. It was her to come up with his back was a texture like that of camembert cheese. And of course, he puts his hand through the dead
Oh.
German soldier's back
Yeah.
and it goes through. I tried camembert shite.
I don't like it.
Not
Don't
a
like
fan
it.
of it at all.
A big fan of cheese, but not that.
And I usually like French stuff, but not the snails, not the camembert. Stick to the pastry
And the wine.
and the wine. Absolutely. In terms of me, I'll end it up by saying, look, there's a couple in there that I would be excited about potential announcements coming out from this Comic-Con, maybe the next couple of months in terms of future of Marvel.
Yeah.
Teasers and whatnot. 4, you mentioned for all the same reasons as you, Stephen Taika Waititi, but Guardians as well, Volume 3. Just where gun's going to take this, man. It's been some journey. I remember going to the theatre back in 2014 to see it, man. I was a more youthful 25. Fucking special time. Laughing my head off. One of the funniest fucking experiences I've had in a theatre. Just the back and forth. The music. Peter Quill, I mention it again. I love Chris Pratt. Funny guy. I don't care what his political persuasion is. And it's fucking bollocks. Doesn't matter.
John, did you see in the trailer when Thor
Yeah.
get back into shape? How raging he was. He didn't say anything. It was just his. It was,
He looked up, didn't he? Yeah. But then I think we're going to have a bromance because he says at one moment, look at someone you truly love, and Thor comes into shot and he's looking him right in the eye. So cannot wait to see the back and forth. So for that, I think if you've talked me into it, it's probably going to be Thor as well. But Guardians and Blade, man, I grew up with the Wesley Snipes Blade movies.
Yeah.
I love those fucking movies.
I'm concerned about
different.
Guardians, John, in terms of Dave Bautista's what he's done after this, and it really depends where the next one goes.
Mhm.
I was about to say second one, it'll be the third one.
Yeah, we can forget Ego and stuff
Yeah.
like that. No, I want you-
Yeah.
We went to see
It
that as
wasn't as good. It wasn't as good. It was an okay film, but it wasn't as good as the first movie. I don't know. It depends. I don't know. It might have
think
to
it's
work the whole Ragnarok magic to recapture that magic of the first film again.
I think it's end.
I
for
think
the
it
Guardians.
is as well. Yeah.
I think it's done. I think they'll all go. The vast majority. I think Rocket's done. I think Drax is done. I think Nebula's done.
Gamora, I don't think's
I
done.
think Gamora's just going to go off and do her own thing. I think Peter will survive.
Yeah.
Not many. Mantis, give a fuck whether she survives or not.
That would be a good film, wouldn't it? Star-Lord and Gamora
Yeah.
adventures.
Yeah. I think they're done.
Yeah.
And it's going to be sad times,
Yeah.
but also exhilarating times as well. It'll be a great movie. Because when James really shines, and I'm saying it as if I know him again, it's when he gives us everything he says about Taika Waititi. The humour, the exhilarating action, the wisecracking, the dialogue, the music,
The
but
wig,
also
the
the
catchphrase.
sadness, Stephen.
Yeah.
Because we've
Yeah.
seen it in Suicide Squad. There was some fucking poignant moments in there,
Yeah.
man. There was when Weasel drowned. I was fucking devastated.
Yeah.
And then he came back,
Also, Polka Dot Man as well.
Polka Dot
It was
Man, I'm a
nice
superhero.
moment. Yeah.
and then you're dead.
Yeah. It was a nice moment though.
You're dead. You are burnt to a crisp. You fall to your death.
Jump the chasm.
You're
Yeah.
dead. They quote Brian Lemmy Lemond again.
Falconhoof.
Adventure call. Greetings, traveller. My name is Falconhoof. I will be your guide on your quest. But let I digress. What is your thoughts? That's rounded it up. That was a good show. I enjoyed that. Enjoyed the gab.
Yeah.
I really do like
Yeah.
speaking. Probably gathered that. Anyone that's been
We're
around
not
this
as
channel.
regimented as we used to be.
No, we can go off in tangents, Stephen. We can do it. Look, we can do that anyway. We do it all the time. When we
Yeah.
get a drink in us, maybe we need to start doing a show
With drink.
where we just drink like fuck.
Yeah. The critical
speak.
drinkers, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of done, isn't it?
Yep.
Another Scotsman drinking half a bottle of whiskey and talking and sharing his thoughts. What a channel, by the way. He's a good guy. I like him.
Fantastic, yeah.
Bit dour at times, but that's Scots for you.
It's
What-
Aberdeen, isn't it?
Yeah. Fuck, I'd be doing as
Every
well if I came from
every
Aberdeen.
right to be to us.
Fucking Granite City.
Yeah.
Grey.
Mm.
On the what is it? Not the North Sea, is it? It is North Sea.
That is the North Sea, yeah.
Fucking freezing.
Yep.
Howling wind coming in.
Yep.
They should have put Banshees, the legend of the Banshees, up in Aberdeen, not in the fucking Irish Isles. Because I think there's Banshees up there, and I'm not talking about fucking paranormal beings, I'm talking about the women. But look, man, that's going to round it up. What is your thoughts on the show? What do you make about the Batman getting a sequel? Did the announcement surprise you? Was it a bit of a foregone conclusion? Where do you think they will go with this movie? Who will be the villain? What will be the title? Will it be sequential, the Batman 2? Will they put a title in there after the Batman? Will they just completely ditch the Batman and go for something else? You can share your thoughts down below about that. Anything else you feel compelled to share? Maybe Ezra Miller, the whole cancel thing, Johnny Depp, Amber Turd. I'm not calling her fucking heard it. Her name's Turd now. What a joke. Anything at all. Marvel. What's your favourite upcoming, most anticipated upcoming Marvel movie? You can share your thoughts down below in the comment section anyway if you get anything to say. And also like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyeballs. Hit the follow button and the notification thing over in Twitch as well. I don't know what it is because I don't really follow people that often in Twitch. I just watch my own little group that I'm in a community with and getting murdered with in Dead by Daylight, by the way. Bastard Asshole. Fucking killed me last night. Regardless of what you do, man, stop gibbering. Thank you very much for watching. Until the next time, me and Steve are done.